Hello, everyone. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. And welcome to today's session from Faronics on how you can reduce your risk of getting hacked. My name's Tom. I work in the product team at Faronics. I'm really happy to be with you today. And if you've got any questions as I go through today's session, please just pop them in the Zoom chat. And I'm very happy to pause for questions at the end of the session. We'll take about 15 minutes, excluding Q&A. So this is the screen that an IT manager really doesn't want to see. Unfortunately, it is becoming quite a lot more commonplace. Last year alone, ransomware more than doubled. Some sectors came under particularly heavy attack, especially ones where there's a large amount of collateral damage that could be caused, like energy companies or payment companies. So a lot of really bad stories about how those kinds of organizations were affected because they're attractive to hackers because of the wider damage in the economy that you can cause by hitting them. And there's not really any moral compass at all on behalf of the hackers. You've got many high profile examples of schools and hospitals hitting the news as well. And there isn't really any dressing up that when you do get hit, it's bad. There's not really any nice thing to say about it. It can really drain all your resources for months trying to sort it out. And even then you're never totally sure that you have sorted it out. Here are some recent news stories just from the last couple of weeks, but unfortunately there are loads of stories like this every week. But luckily though, we can significantly reduce your risk of getting hacked. Nobody could ever claim to eliminate that risk, but we can definitely make a massive dent in that risk, and we do make a massive dent in it for thousands of organizations around the world. So I'll just show you how we can do that. But first, I'll just say a little bit about Faronics. Yeah, so we've been around since 1996. In that time, we've sold more than 10 million licenses in more than 150 countries. We've got over 30,000 customers around the world, all different shapes and sizes, big and small. And in that time, since 1996, we have become a world leader in the field of cybersecurity. Our headquarters are in Vancouver in Canada. And then a little bit down the west coast there, we have an office in the USA and also in the UK, in Bracknell, that's where I'm based. And we also have an office in Singapore. So that's where most of our product work takes place. But we do work with partners all over the world. So if you're not in one of those locations, don't worry, there's going to be someone who is near to you who can look after you. And if you want to know who that is, just pop a question in the Q&A and we can tell you who your partner would be. So I'm just going to move on to a demo of our product called Faronics Cloud Deep Freeze. Faronics Cloud Deep Freeze is a web-based endpoint management solution. So the URL is deepfreeze.com, so that URL is the same. So you're going to be able to manage your workstations wherever you are, wherever they are. And one of the underpinning features of Faronics Cloud Deep Freeze is our Reboot to Restore. So our Reboot to Restore solution is called Deep Freeze, and that is unique to Faronics. If you turn it on in your policy, you can make sure that anytime a computer restarts, it will do so in its original state. And that is pretty much an indestructible security layer, because obviously you're going to have hopefully a multi-layered approach to security. You're going to have lots of different lines of defense to stop the bad guys getting through. our customers with deep freeze, if anything does make it through, it's just a restart, and then the security threat disappears. So here I can see my dashboard. I can see the security status of my estate, and I can see my workstations. If I had a security threat over that workstation, I could just restart it from the cloud, and then any virus, any ransomware, malware, that's going to disappear on a restart. So that really makes security a lot easier. You have a lot more peace of mind with deep freeze, because you know that you can eliminate any bad code just from restart. There's also lots of other benefits. You're making sure that you're optimizing the performance of your hardware, you're reducing the effect of hardware degradation, and you will typically eliminate around half your help desk tickets, because most help desk tickets are resolved on a restart. So that's really the underlying layer of security, but there's several layers on top of that within the cloud product, one of which is anti-executable. So if I turn on that in my policy, I'm going to be blocking executable files that I don't want. So I can add and remove files from my control list that I would like to allow or block. So I can really make sure that I can spend some time seeing what software gets run in my environment, and then I can make sure that I'm blocking anything that is unauthorized. And then ransomware prevention is a simple tick that box. And that means I'm going to be blocking all these known ransomware file extensions. This is a list that we're continually updating. Unfortunately, it's quite a long list and keeps getting longer. Scroll down so you can see everything on that list. So known ransomware is blocked. So obviously ransomware criminals are continually trying to stay ahead of security firms, so that there's always going to be unknown ransomware, but we are continually looking out for that and adding to our list. But that is another peace of mind you can obtain just by ticking that box. You know you're going to be blocking known ransomware. Then another layer of defense is WinSelect. So in this policy, I've enabled WinSelect and I've turned on my kiosk mode. So what that means is that I have entirely locked down what my users can do. This is the desktop. I can specify these applications, and I've got lots of other options around customizing the appearance of the desktop. I could have like my company logo. I've got date and time, language selector. I can really carefully configure what the desktop looks like, but I'm basically saying this is the limit of the damage you can cause me. You're only going to be allowed to use these applications and no more. And you've got lots of other options in WinSelect. So if you want to, for example, stop right-clicking, dragging and dropping, what options you allow on the desktop, the Windows taskbar, if you want to disable certain drives, certain file extensions, you want to limit what's available in the start menu, enable some network restrictions, all kinds of options you've got. And that will restrict if you, especially in an environment where, if you're like a school or a university or a library, say, where you have public facing machines and you don't really know your users, you don't really know who's coming and going every day, and you maybe don't trust them, then WinSelect is a really powerful tool to restrict the harm that can come to you. Then we've got antivirus. So the package comes with an antivirus solution, and you can run all kinds of reports on antivirus. So you can see like top 25 infected machines. Luckily, I haven't got any. You can see your scan history, your active protection history. Whatever you want to know about your antivirus, you can find out. and these reports are exportable to print, HTML, PDF, and CSV. But you can set antivirus up in your policy with all kinds of really customizable options to make sure that the antivirus offer works with what you need for your estate, and also works with deep freeze, because if you have deep freeze turned on, then when a workstation restarts, it will restart in its original state. But if you use our antivirus package, then you're making sure that antivirus definitions aren't wiped out as well, although it's not a problem to exclude antivirus definitions if you're using them from another party. Then you've got Windows updates. So you can make sure that you're always delivering up-to-date Windows updates. So here I've got, for each category of Windows update, I can see I've got some critical updates there. I could just approve all. And I've got some security updates. So I can have a look at them. I can decide whether I want to approve or deny. I could deny that one. So you can make sure that you're only delivering the Windows updates you want to deliver. But you can schedule all this as well. So this is on demand from the Windows Updates page. If you prefer, you can just set this to happen at night when you're asleep, maybe once a week, or you could do it every day if you like. And then you know that when Microsoft identify vulnerabilities and they patch those vulnerabilities, that you're not exposed, because as soon as Microsoft identify an issue, the fix is deployed to your computers. So you are reducing your risk of getting hacked because you're on the same side as Microsoft and you're giving yourself the best chance. And you don't even have to think about it. You can just schedule it all to happen, and it doesn't take up any of your time. It doesn't need to take up any of your users' time. There doesn't need to be any disruption. And that's the same with software updates. So here we've got a long list of applications that you can just tick the ones you want to keep updated. I'll just scroll down slowly so you can see what's on the list. And when you've selected the applications from this list, you just have to schedule a maintenance period, and these applications are going to be kept up to date. So again, it's something that might take quite a lot of time out of your typical week. It doesn't need to take up any time at all. And if you've got applications here that don't appear on this predefined list, it's very easy to add them. But you're just, again, reducing your risk of getting hacked, because all these software companies are releasing updates all the time. And sometimes users just make them go away. They don't want to be disrupted, which leaves their organizations vulnerable. But you can just make sure that you're not vulnerable to identified vulnerabilities in software, because you're keeping them updated all the time and it's happening in an automated way, so it's not requiring any manual intervention. So we use the phrase one platform total control, and we use that because we do allow you total control of what's going on in your environment. It's a very easy to use web-based console. Security is going to be always your most important consideration as an IT manager, and you can get that peace of mind through Faronics Cloud. There's lots of other benefits to Faronics Cloud. For example, we've got a power save module, especially topical with the frightening increase in the price of electricity. You can really bear down on those costs. Again, it doesn't need to disrupt your users and it doesn't need to take up your time. It's a very intelligent power save module. And another thing might worth having a look at is ticket management. So you can run a fully functional ticketing module from within Faronics Cloud Deep Freeze, so your users can raise tickets, and you can respond to those tickets and reassign them, attach files, look at history. If there's anything else you want to have a look at here, please let us know, and we'll happily show you if you'd like to have a no obligation demo. And you can sign up for a free trial if you like on Faronics.com for Faronics Cloud Deep Freeze. So when you sign up for the trial, you just need to create a policy and then activate the functionality you need in your policy. Then just install the cloud agent on the devices you want to manage, and then you're ready to go. So just to summarize today's session, unfortunately, everyone is at risk of getting hacked, but we can hugely reduce that risk. So I'll just leave our contact details on screen now. We've got a question in the Q&A. If you have any more questions, put them in the Q&A now. So can you manage multiple locations? Yes, so thanks for the question. Yeah, you can use the sites feature. So here you can see your sites and you can create more sites. So if you're managing a large estate with lots of different locations, then you can set them up and you can give your colleagues the right permissions for the right sites. So you can make sure that if you want someone to use, say, software updater in Vancouver, but deep freeze in London, then it's very easy to set that up. Thank you very much for your time today. And if you have any more questions from today that you think of afterwards, we'll be very happy to answer them after this session. So there's our contact details. Please drop us a line and we'll be very happy to hear from you. But thank you very much for your time today and have a lovely day. Bye-bye.